This is called Final Fantasy's Many Scandals. Spoiler alert, it's all FF11 and FF14. I watch this guy sometimes, he's kind of funny. Good morning, Fountain.
Fantasy, the series that constantly defies its own name in order to tell as many stories as they can about spiky-haired babies stabbing God. Equally famous for its contributions to both gaming and hentai, this legendary series is not without its troubles. These are the many scandals of Final Fantasy.
Wait, I gotta... Okay, he didn't wreck my PF, thank God. Yeah, he's funny.
My fellow Americans, I am once again in geology's top...
No!
In mid-2021, Final Fantasy XIV data miners excavated references to an emote that read /eat pizza, which worryingly implies that Italians exist within the world of Eorzea. A dubious source, also known as a screenshot of a tweet, stated that this was part of an upcoming Grubhub promotion.
This was so dumb, man.
Stupid. So everyone just thought
This
it was
was
a joke.
so
Still,
stupid.
This wasn't entirely out of the question. Final Fantasy XIV had previously run a
I
similar
have
promotion
this.
with Butterfinger, where you could earn yourself a big beautiful chocolate orb to...
The best part of Butterfingers was watching streamers play the game, like Distortion, for example, and then just every so often they would just start talking about how nice Butterfingers are. And it was so cringe, man. I was like, bro, people don't act like this. While like the Butterfingers Twitch account was in chat just being like super fucking weird.
ride around on if you fingered enough butt. In December, it was announced that the Eat Pizza emote came from an upcoming Grubhub promotion. That sounds fucking stupid, and it is, which only made it all the more enticing for FF14's player base. For a limited time, place an order on Grubhub and use promo code NWalker at checkout to earn your own Eat Pizza emote. Plus, get free delivery powered by the Grubhub guarantee for orders placed during the Game Awards on Thursday, December 9th. With so many players enticed by the idea of their beautiful Viera scarfing down mouthfuls of cheesy sauce dough, outrage occurred when it was discovered that you could only redeem the emote on one character.
Yeah, and it didn't
per
even
account.
say.
This isn't as bad as in alt-heavy MMOs like World of Warcraft, as you can theoretically do all the content on one Final Fantasy XIV character. But it's still frustrating for the players who play multiple characters for whatever reason. Furthermore,
I mean, there's plenty of reason to do that. Things not being account-wide is really fucking stupid. It's just Square Enix being greedy. Like, let's just say it how it is here. The only reason that's a thing is because they want more money.
and
they
can't
exploit
really
their
understand why,
audience.
Square Enix believed that only
Successful.
Americans would be interested in the consumption of greasy, high-calorie foods, and as such, the promotion was unavailable anywhere else. But even if you did live in America, the rollout on December 9th was less than ideal. Final Fantasy XIV players, who would never normally spend money on fast food, were enraged when they discovered that their order wasn't even guaranteed to get an emote code. After not receiving any evidence on my receipt/order
this was
confirmation
a
that I
fucking
applied the
mess,
discount
man.
code, I reached out to Grubhub support. It didn't seem like they were able to apply it to my order retroactively, so I think I just paid $25 for an emote that I won't get. Parentheses, didn't need the food. Just an FYI, if
I mean, like, look, here's the thing, right? If you're gonna spend $25 fucking dollars for an emote, like, you need help. Like, you actually need help. Like, what the fuck? But you should still get what you paid for. I agree.
If you placed your Grubhub order through their website, there is a very high likelihood
Mega
that the
statue
promo
emote. Yeah, but they
code
paid
was
for the
not
statue
applied
as
to
well,
your
at
order.
least.
Can we please get hashtag
But this guy just said they don't care about the
trending on
food.
Twitter? They clearly don't give a single fuck. They made millions off us in a weekend and aren't refunding, aren't attempting to do...
No, chat, the statue emotes are not the same thing. That guy literally just said he doesn't care about the food. So he was willing to spend fucking $25 for a fucking emote. The statues are at least, you know, hand-painted statues that tend to be more expensive. People have bought the codes without statue for 100 plus. Well, then they need help as well. Because that's fucking weird. I'd spend $25 for a night of Seren.
anything to fix the situation. I'm
Thanks, I
beyond
guess.
pissed.
I'm
It turns
cheap.
out the codes were being sent out a week after the promotion ran, which only furthered confusion. Nobody, not even Grubhub customer support, knew or cared what was going on. The terms and conditions claimed that the codes were limited in number and would be served on a first come, first ordered a medium Big Mac combo basis. Meanwhile, some customer support reps claimed that the codes would be distributed via a lottery system and that they were limited to only 2,000 codes per day.
Like,
But
what
it
is
turns
what
out
is
those were
wrong?
In a later FAQ, short for
What is
frequently
wrong
asked
with, like,
questions, it was revealed
these
that
lottery
there was no
systems, man?
limit
Like, they're
to the
so
amount of
shit.
potential pizza performance participants, and that they didn't use.
It's
a
not fair when everyone's just paying for the same thing and hoping they get it. Like, that's so fucking stupid. Like, you're just getting ripped off. I know it's a JP thing, and I really don't understand it.
lottery system. Unfortunately, this did nothing to ease the pain of the many users who, tragically, could still not eat pizza. Over the coming months, players grew
See, I like
frustrated
the billboard
at their
in the
lack of
background.
code. Some decried
This guy's
legal
funny.
action, claiming that a class action lawsuit could be coming for Grubhub and Square Enix. Now, on one hand, it is pretty poor form to run this big promotion and then not have the infrastructure to support it. On the other hand, it's an emote that makes your character eat pizza in Final Fantasy XIV. I wish I could tell you that the players fought the good fight and Square Enix let them have the pizza.
I mean, you're just
I
not
wish I
gonna
could
win a
say. But
lawsuit
Final
against
Fantasy
Square Enix. Like,
14
that's just never
is
gonna
no
happen.
fairy tale world.
Unfortunately.
Weeks, months, and even years later, many players were still unable to eat pizza. Truly, one of the most tragic stories I've covered yet. This is actually not the first unkillable boss battle I've covered on this channel, but it's definitely the most bullshit. While EverQuest's Kerafim was unkillable for story reasons, this next one was unkillable for, I don't know, mysterious Japanese reasons. Notorious monsters are a special class of enemies in Final Fantasy XI, the first MMO in the series. These
I never
goofy
played
fucks are
FF11,
usually
but it
important
looks...
plot characters or part of epic quest lines, and have unique moves
Oh, no.
and loot as a result. Unlike other games that lazily flop their thick, juicy bosses onto the face that is the game's open world, Final Fantasy XI makes you work for their notorious monsters. While some spawn naturally, others require more esoteric methods, like trading items to specific characters. These bosses were meant to recreate the optional super bosses from previous Final Fantasy games.
Why isn't this
Final
in
Fantasy
14 though?
VII's Emerald Weapon or Final Fantasy
The
8's
A and S
Ultimate
ranks
Weapon,
here are
or
pathetic.
Final Fantasy 9's, no really guys, this weapon's the biggest weapon. In April of 2005,
Well, actually,
Final
well, like, they're not pathetic to start with, but by the end of the expansion, they are.
Fantasy XI received an update that contained a cryptic patch note. New notorious monsters have been added to the Chains of Promathia areas. As mentioned, some of the methods to spawn these notorious monsters can get quite complex, and as such, it took players 7 months from the release of this patch to discover the final boss in a long chain of bosses, Absolute Virtue. Linkshell Clan, Order of the Blue Garter, defeated what everyone thought was the final boss at the time, Jailer of Love, only for Absolute Virtue to spawn immediately afterwards. After an hour of fighting these max level, well geared players, Absolute Virtue was down to 98% health. In addition to a large pool
What
of
the
HP,
fuck?
Absolute Virtue regenerates an insane amount of health per tick. But the real kicker was its cast of Meteor, which will pretty much wipe any group that doesn't specifically build around mitigating its damage. While some strategies were devised over the following months, it was almost a full year later
Sounds
that
fun,
the
man.
first kill occurred. Players used a method that allowed them to exploit the walls in the zone in order to deal damage to enemy adds on the other side of the wall with no fear of being attacked back.
So
After a few
stupid.
more link shells scored kills this way, Square Enix came down on them like a sack of Final Fantasy themed bricks. I couldn't think of something Final Fantasy themed that you put in this
Yeah,
thing.
they had to exploit it, I guess. Silky, thank you for the 10. Appreciate it. And Fillion, thank you for Philin, thank you for the 2 months.
Apparently, the
Thank you
only
both for coming
viable
back.
method found after almost a year of attempts was deemed unacceptable, and players who used it faced ban warnings. Still, this wasn't entirely unreasonable, as pretty much any MMO would consider terrain exploits cheating. A second method was eventually found, which involved a group of Dark Knight players using a combination of multi-hit weapons and certain spells in order to deal huge amounts of damage at once. Interestingly, this method was also deemed incorrect by Square Enix. Absolute Virtue.
Well, why
was
would you
patched
design
in
a
order to
boss that
gradually
can't be
resist
killed
one of
without
the key
exploiting it?
spells in the
And then be
strategy,
mad when people
rendering
exploited it?
useless. Unlike the wall method,
Huh?
this used 0 exploits and was simply a creative combination of weapons and skills. As players grew increasingly frustrated with Square Enix for arbitrarily changing the rules, the developers decided to throw the players a bone by giving them a hint during the Vanifest conference.
Okay,
in
so there was like some
2006 by
cryptic
killing
way of
specific
actually doing it.
creatures and then attacking Absolute Virtue with elemental spells based on which in-game day it was. You could nullify his powerful health regeneration. While this nullified one of the most aggravating aspects of the fight, it was still far too difficult for even the most dedicated players to figure out. Another year passed.
Maybe this
and
is why they
players
made
had still
14
not
easy.
found a legitimate means of defeating Abhorrent Vagina. Sorry. Square once again released a hint, this time in the form of a video. While it initially raised more questions than answers, players eventually deduced that they were trying to show that you could
so
lock
that
out
model's from
Absolute Virtue's
FF11.
powerful
Okay.
abilities by countering them with your own. Both players and Absolute Virtue have abilities called 2-hour skills, which are powerful moves that have a 2-hour long cooldown. In order to lock out one of Absolute Virtue's 2-hour
What the fuck is FF11, man? 2-hour cooldown abilities? Huh? Bro, what? I mean, it sounds kind of interesting, but like, what the fuck? No, I've not played another FF game. Well, apart from like when I was very young and I don't even remember which one it was. Jesus Christ.
skills, a player would have to cast the exact same skill at the exact same time he does. That might not sound too bad, but the timing on this was so tight that by the time the combat log told you that Absolute Virtue was casting, it was already too late. While Square Enix's video did show them beat Absolute Virtue using this method, the fact that they were either using an internal test server or their close proximity to the actual game servers meant their latency was low enough that hitting this unforgiving time window was possible. Even with
That sounds familiar.
Ping issues don't exist, guys. Just live in the server room, haha. Please put feedback on the forums so we won't read it.
With this method, it was revealed by a GM that the fight would take 18 fucking hours to complete. Ironic for a game that opens with a splash screen reminding you not to let the game
Good to
overtake
know
the
that Square
mind.
Enix
Around
haven't
this
changed
time,
in
another
over
league show
20
started
years.
to have a hoon on a different undefeated
Really fills me with hope that we're gonna have these things sorted someday. Surely.
notorious monster, the Pandemonium Warden, which I think is just another name for Riot Police. The players estimated it'd be a 3 to 6 hour long fight, and that if it went over 8 hours, then it was just 18 hours later, they posted, people were passing out and getting physically ill.
Bro,
We
what
decided
the
to end it before
fuck?
we risked turning into a horrible news story about how video games ruin people's lives. Fight start time, 3:30 p.m.
What
EST.
the fuck, man?
End time, 9 a.m. Fuck you,
Square
Square
Enix,
They
what are
would
you
later
doing?
clarify what happened in a blog post. 18 hours is not the length of the fight, it is the length of our attempt. There is no doubt in my or anyone else's mind that to beat it, you would need another 2 to 5 hours, making this closer to a 20 to 24 hour fight. Most members took no breaks at all, outside of waiting for weakness to wear if they died. Personally, I never even went to piss. Adrenaline covered up everything for me. We did not take shifts or rotate.
What the
and did
fuck
not
is
expect
this,
an
man?
18-hour fight. After the media began to pick up on the ridiculousness that was an 18-hour fight, as well as players, saying that they don't want to do that, Square Enix announced that they would be making changes to both the Pandemonium Warden.
Well, how do you
Absolute
fuck
Virtue.
up in the
past
first
2 weeks
place?
have seen considerable feedback from players regarding the amount of time required to combat the Pandemonium Warden, a recently implemented notorious monster. Adjustments have been made to Jailer of Love, Absolute Virtue and Pets, and Pandemonium Warden and Pets, in areas such as HP value and behavior. Absolute Virtue and Pandemonium Warden will now vanish 2 hours after their appearance, automatically ending the battle. Final Fantasy XI's level cap was later raised from 75 to 99, and the extra power players had access to meant that Absolute Virtue was finally able to be killed. It's believed that, besides the kills that Square Enix deemed invalid, nobody was able to legitimately kill Absolute Virtue before this change.
How do you like that? That's like fucking up in the complete opposite direction to this game. Like this game, like they pander to fucking like casuals too much, and in FF11 they wanted you to fucking die in your chair. Like what the fuck is going on? How did they fuck this up? And then, like, they didn't even change it. Like, they seemed adamant that it was beatable in a reasonable amount of time. Maybe this is why casuals get mad at raiders. Maybe they just remember this. I don't know. Okay, that's a joke. But still. You're shit devs. I'm inclined to believe it. Like, what is that?
Raids in Final Fantasy XIV are big, fat, juicy, succulent endgame battles run by groups of 8 players. They come in 3 flavors: normal, chocolate, and ultimate. With ultimate being the, ultimate test of skill. But not in a bullshit way like Absolute Virtue. Who's
not
also
this,
in
dude.
14,
Not
by the way,
this.
Although you don't get banned if you beat this one. Much like in other MMOs,
Nah.
speedrun newly released content for bragging rights over who can get through the most adult diapers in one sitting, and also beat
That's also true, though. He's put it perfectly.
the hardest content first. On January 24th of the year of
Nah,
our Lord,
not
2023,
this, man.
patch 6.31.
I remember people
inseminated
coming into
Final
my
Fantasy
chat
14
during Prague
with
to
the
tell me
game's
about this.
5th ultimate raid, the Omega Protocol. 6 days later, the creatively titled Japanese static Unnamed announced that
For
they were the
fuck's
first players
sake,
to
man.
complete the raid. While the proof of their announcement was only a screenshot of their victory, most players in the community deemed it legitimate and congratulated
This is
them
a
on their
fucking
victory.
scandal.
This celebration
I guess it
would
is.
be short-lived. A few hours
Like,
later,
why is this whole video just? Why is this whole video
a
just
video was shared
MMO
of the
scandals?
attempt, which showed that Unnamed had utilized mods in order to achieve their victory royale.
No, don't zoom in on ACT. This isn't the fucking problem, man. No.
Now, mods are a contentious topic.
Why are
amongst
you
the
zooming
players.
in on that?
Unlike other MMOs, which mod
Look, I don't understand, like, old WoW, man. Like, look at this shit. Like, what the fuck is that? Oh my god. Small? What do you mean small? It's all huge.
everything from tweaking your UI to adding Bejeweled, every mod is banned in Final Fantasy XIV.
True.
Technically. This doesn't stop a
Yeah.
lot of players from using them for lewd uses, as we saw in my...
Quite possibly the stupidest drama to ever bestow this game. The fuck is... Oh, this. Right, yeah, I've seen this.
Video on the illegal Final Fantasy billboard. Of course, letting a player mod Final Fantasy 14
I think this
until
guy
it resembles
plays.
Meat and Fuck Kingdom doesn't affect anyone else's gameplay experience. So
What did he just say?
This doesn't stop a lot of players from using them for lewd uses, as we saw in my video on the illegal Final Fantasy billboard. Of course, letting a player mod Final Fantasy 14 until it resembles Meat and Fuck Kingdom.
He's not wrong, though. He's not wrong.
Doesn't affect anyone else's gameplay experience, so Square Enix just kind of turns a blind eye to it. The mods used by Unnamed, on the other hand, gave them a distinct gameplay advantage. These mods provided information about party member hitboxes, party member cooldown trackers, and most importantly, a massive adjustment.
Bro,
to
like,
the
why are you zooming in on ACT this whole time when, like, this was the issue? Right here. Stop zooming in on fucking ACT, bro. That's not the issue.
camera's maximum zoom distance. This allowed one player to zoom his camera out far enough that they had a full view of the boss arena, which was then streamed to a couple of players who weren't actually fighting in the raid. These players act like coaches or raid leaders, analysing the boss's mechanics and directing the players mid-fight. While this isn't against the rules, being able to zoom out to a full view of the room gives you a clear advantage over the players who can't. As stated in the terms of service for Final Fantasy XIV, the use of third-party tools is strictly prohibited. Players who are determined to be using third-party tools will have their account suspended or permanently banned for repeat offenses. It goes without saying that we're aware of World Race's...
Hang on, I'm just gonna change this to fucking one plat, man, because it just won't fucking fill, man. I hate PF, bro. I guarantee it's because of this. Guarantee it. Bye, streamer. Wait, what?
high-end duties. As the developers, we're proud to have grown into one of the few games where they're held, and it delights us to see so many players participate as well as spectate with great interest. But a race should be fair, and it's our earnest wish that participants don't use third-party tools. Indeed,
Please
we've
don't
only
use
released
third
duties
party
that we have
as if that's
proven
gonna
can be
stop them.
beaten
Ban
with
the
game's
fuckers.
standard features. Unlike a lot of MMOs, Final Fantasy XIV has a very large console player base. These players have no option to mod their game, and so the players who play on PC, who can, would have an unfair advantage, which may have led to the creation of this rule. Naturally, the player base was enraged that Unnamed had unfairly achieved their world first title. Tired from their marathon gaming session, the members of Unnamed hit the hay, but not before leaving their character logged in order to show off the new raid gear they'd just acquired.
That's pretty
The player
funny.
base, in turn, did the only logical thing. They threw a boldness festival on Japanese Final Fantasy XIV servers.
Wait,
When
what
someone
the
breaks
fuck?
public social code of conduct, players do what's called Hagaruga Matsuri, or Baldness Festival, where hundreds of players playing naked, white-skinned, bald Rogadin flood the offender's housing plot or cluster
that a
around their
thing?
character to publicly shame them for their offense.
What the fuck, dude? Is that actually a thing? What the? Holy shit. Oh my god. Like, I never knew about this. Like, obviously I knew all about the UAV online drama, but I never knew about this specifically. Here you just get surrounded by catgirls with big dicks. Well, that's not a punishment. That's like a way to make me fucking cum myself into a coma. Man, that is... Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I stick to what I say. Like, I think JP are hypocrites here. Like, you know, a lot of them act pure. I'm sure some of them are, but I doubt all of them are. No, I don't think I mean, as much as I agree with cheaters being outed, you know, I don't think... I think JP went too far. I really think they did. I don't think that it was necessary to go as far as they did. But like what the fuck is this, man? Jesus Christ.
Around their character to publicly shame them for their offense. Out of shame, some of the members of Unnamed posted apologies to Twitter, with one player saying he would delete all of his characters and quit the game. Some users referred to this as digital seppuku, a phrase which caught on and even trended on Japanese Twitter. I mean, you think Elon Musk is annoying on American Twitter, wait till you see how annoying Japanese Elon Musk is. Game director Yoshi P would offer his thoughts on the controversy, in addition to stating that they will be enacting penalties such as temporary or permanent account suspension if they confirm the use of third-party tools. He says, the Ultimate Raid series is the most difficult battle content within Final Fantasy XIV, and we release this content after testing that it can be cleared without the use of any third-party tools. However, if the presumption is that this content will be tackled and cleared with the use of third-party tools, then any reason to develop high difficulty battle content seems to be lost.
Meanwhile, fucking PF just AMing their way through an entire phase. This game is like, it's so doomed, man. Like, this game is so fucking doomed. Because players think you need it to clear. Square Enix think you don't. You know, a lot of us think you don't. But unfortunately, you know, you just can't win against PF, really. Sometimes. You know, like here's how you fix it. You fucking ban them. Like, don't punish minorities for the actions of... Sorry, don't punish majorities for the actions of the minority. Even though I guess at this point AM isn't really a minority. But you get what I'm saying. Like why do we have to suffer because people are too stupid? I just don't get it. Or just remove nice glam. What? Why? No. I just, like, Square Enix just doesn't do enough. Why is the philosophy always punish the entire player base rather than just chasing down the people that are, like, perpetuating this? I don't get it. AM is like an accepted standard in Ultimate now because I don't fucking know. It's sad. I wish it wasn't this way. I don't have like a link to AM set up in LPDU linked because I want people to use it. It's because people are just gonna ask and be told anyway. Like, it's sad that we have to do that. But those people that have cleared it with the AM, like, I'm sorry, but your clear is not as legit as, like, those that cleared without. Like, it's not. And that doesn't matter. Like, you know, that it's not a big deal. It's just a fucking game. But, like, I don't know, man. I mean, like, you know, AM's a bit different to the many other more egregious cheats out there. But I just really... You know, I really wish Square Enix would take more of a stance. Because if they really cared that much, like Serenaya says, like, clearly they don't care that much. Because right now all they're throwing out is empty words again. I just, you know, I just don't really understand the philosophy anymore. It's like, if you're so against it, why aren't you doing anything about it? You only act when the reputation of your game is at risk. i.e. when something goes viral on Twitter. Apart from that, you don't care and just beg people to stop. Change to one plat. Yeah, I know, it's great, right? I love PF. PF just loves to hate themselves. It's amazing. Like, I don't know. I mean, I talk about this every time this is brought up. Like, yeah, players shouldn't be doing it. But you don't do anything about it. And this is the internet. And on the internet, people will just do whatever it fucking takes. In every game, people cheat. It's annoying. But we can't stop them. Only you can. Maybe think about integrity instead of just your fucking public image or profits.
It's very difficult for me to understand, as a gamer, what the meaning behind using numerous third-party tools to complete the clear.
Well, they'd
first
lose a lot
would
of
be.
players
If
if
the
they didn't
illicit
publish
use
it
of
on PC,
third-party
though.
tools is made clear through our investigations, I, at the very least, will not recognize that team as the true world first. Now, are you ready for the twist? The video revealing the use of third-party tools was actually uploaded a full day before Unnamed announced their victory, and was titled Zoom Hack Zetsu Omega. It was also posted to a brand new YouTube channel with a name which translates to Divine Punishment, while also naming all 8 players in the static in its description. This has led some to believe that this video was released not to show proof of their kill, but from a disgruntled member who wanted to expose them for modding.
Yeah, like what was that? What was the story? Like, I think their 9th man. Like, they said they weren't gonna get them a clear anymore, so I think they got pissed off. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard anyway. So they just fucking did this. Kinda Giga Chad, if I'm honest.
Omega Protocol would be cleared legitimately a day later by Neverland after a mere
Legitimately. Let's not pretend the world race is not full of third-party usage. Realistically, if everyone could see the streams of any world-first potential group that aren't streaming. You know, we all know you're cheating. It's very obvious. Because if you don't, you can't win. Because it's just, you're just fighting against other people's technology. But the fact that it's gotten to that point is sad. Really fucking sad. Obviously, you know, it's always the case that maybe some people can't stream. And you can hide this stuff behind streams anyway. So it's not even like streaming proves that you're legit. But I do not believe for 1 second that any group seriously running for world first and refuses to stream is legit. Like, I just don't. Like, even in Zeppi's clear log, it was constant triple weaving. Now, he might just have super low ping, but it was very consistent. That's not enough to accuse someone of cheating, but... You know, like, the people that 9th man for Neverland and shit, like, will just code on the fly. Like, I really hate to say it, because it's not like I have anything against people in world first teams. I don't know them. You know, I don't have anything against them. Nor would they give a fuck what I think anyway. And justifiably so. But I just refuse to accept that world first teams are legit. And that their only excuse for not streaming is we don't want to show our strats. Because I don't really buy into the idea anymore that there isn't like money involved. Like there isn't like money potential in World First. If you were streaming and you got World First, you would be gifted so many hundreds of subs. Saren jealous of Zeppy. I mean, like, look, me and him see eye to eye on a lot of things. I've spoken to him a couple times. He's a really nice guy. I have nothing against him. I just don't like, it's a difficult discussion because, again, I don't have anything against these people, but I do not like how the world race is operated. I do not like that all the best teams, are like just in the shadows and are obviously cheating just to beat each other. Not even because they're bad players. Like, these are obviously very good players. But there is obviously cheats involved as well. Well, that's what I mean, Sleepy. That's what I'm saying. I understand why they do. Because it completely destroys their chance of winning if they don't. People will dump subs on you for just existing and being fun. I mean, yeah, sure. But maybe you wouldn't be that in World First Race. Didn't the team that won the say they cheated because they got the impression all the NA teams were cheating? Oh, yeah. I mean, like, they're not wrong either. Like, the unnamed JP team only got this much shit because they were outed. Like, let's be fucking real. These teams have not been outed. And everyone knows that these teams are cheating in some way or another. Because they have to win. It's a product of the culture. It doesn't make it right. Of course it doesn't make it right that the JP team cheated. But they are not wrong for saying that other people are cheating too. Like, of course, like, they are 100% right. I just hate him, man. And it's why I just don't care about the world race. I don't want to race anyway, and I'm not good enough to race. But I would never want to race because I wouldn't want to be using this shit. I would just feel really dirty. And it's sad. Isn't World First just a made-up thing by the community? Not really. Interesting take, but no, not really. Like, World First is a thing in, like, any MMO. Really. And not even just for beating raids first. Like, look at WoW Classic, and it's like race to level 60 or something. Like, it's all artificial bragging, right? Like, no one really cares, but yeah. People want to go for it. So I prefer racing for streamer first. Yeah, like, and people love you for that. Like, look how many thousands of viewers you guys get. Because people just love to watch it. And I really wish more people did that. It's really cool to see you guys get so much attention in world races. It's a shame most of them don't stick around. That's really sad to me. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's really rough.
1,032 attempts.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god. I wasn't
June
here for this,
2017,
but I heard a lot about
Square
it.
Enix spat Stormblood, Final Fantasy XIV's second expansion, into the game's code. This major content drop doubled the active player base and led to multiple major bottlenecks. This isn't uncommon for major
I was not
content
here for
updates
this. I
for
joined the
MMOs.
game
As
shortly
your player
after.
base
I
goes
joined the
from
game in
raiding
4.1.
or PvPing or jerking off in the Belmont
But I heard
to all doing the exact same quest line.
this guy knows a lot. I feel like he plays. Surely he plays.
At the exact same time. I'm sure anyone who lived through the Warlords of Draenor expansion release will remember how painful it was to set up your garrison. Final Fantasy XIV's players made their way through the intro quests.
You should watch this guy's videos. He makes a lot of good stuff. I've been watching him recently.
One of the first quests in the expansion has you enter an instanced fight, which starts as you speak to Ralban. For those not up with the MMO lingo, instances are copies of dungeons or parts of the world that allow you to complete content by yourself without having to worry about 50 other players running in and stealing all your kills and your beautiful rubies. Unfortunately, servers only have so much space for instances, and with so many players all attempting the exact same quest at the same time, they filled up.
This wasn't even the last instance of this, by the way. This also happened with the FF15 event.
Showing a cutscene
with that Garuda
sets up
jutsu.
a no doubt thrilling battle, only to get blue balls as they were spat out and an error message
something
was
like
thrown
that.
up
Something
down
similar.
the back of that jacket. Now, this wasn't an issue that was solved within an hour, or even a few hours. They should implement a queue. I've been sitting here spamming the quest for over an hour trying to get in. Congestion, I get it, totally expected, but I'd rather sit in for an hour than just try again later. And 10 hours later, it's still broken. The Fringe is nothing but people complaining. They've been there mashing on that quest for 8 to 10 hours. By the way, a few folks asked, it's affecting all worlds, not just North America, not just EU, but Southeast Asia and Japan as well. This is so fucking pathetic now. I've been on for 16 hours now. I hit this quest maybe 30 minutes to an hour after launch, and I've been stuck here since. Unfortunately, instances have no queue system, meaning it's just luck of the draw whether you get in or whether you don't. Incentivizing players to park up and spam click the quest objective. In a surprisingly British display, players took queues into their own hands.
I think I'd find something like this funny. Like, at the beginning of the expansion, there's nothing else to do.
Even players
who
who
cares?
are able to complete the quest or attempt other activities entirely will also hit.
It depends.
the same
I guess
issue.
like if you can play the game, it's alright. But if you're stuck in a queue to get in the server in the first place, and that's annoying. 6.0, I'm looking at you.
Players reported being unable to unlock the new samurai class or
Wait, what did he
complete a
say?
similar- Players took queues into their own hands and began to form orderly lines. Because all instances share the same server space, even players who were able to complete the quest or attempt other activities entirely were also hit with the same issue. Players reported being unable to unlock the new samurai class or complete a similar instance fight that occurs not long after Ralban's. Players began to refer to the quest as Ralban EX or Ralban Savage, denominators usually used to differentiate between the different difficulties of raid tiers. In their boredom, they even started to write boss guides for it. Square put out multiple posts about the incident, but they're kind of boring and we're both at the point in the video where neither of us care. A few days later, it was reported that the quest was finally doable.
Man, that's
And
crazy.
that large waves of players had been completing it.
Isn't it funny how they still don't learn from like... They just don't seem to learn from previous issues of like queues and like server load, man. It's so weird. From Stormblood to now, the same things happen.
Months. However, it seems that these reports caused a huge influx of players who,
Like how
once again,
how
could not
stingy
complete the
is
quest.
Square
Over
Enix?
time, the bottlenecks fixed themselves, and the legend of Ralban
Like queues and shit can
lived
never
on
can
in the
never be
hearts and
truly
minds
gotten rid of.
players
Like it's
everywhere.
very
Even if
difficult
some
to
players
solve.
now
But
think that it's an actual boss fight somewhere in the game.
If you are after another Final Fantasy video, you should check out this one on the
it's a good video
Final
though.
Fantasy.
I kind of wish there was more controversies, and not just what the fuck is happening here. Whoa. And not just a few MMO ones, but you know, relatable, at least. Some of us were there.